Okay, we're live. Hey everyone, this is Helena and I'm here with my friend Anya Grace again today. And we're so excited. Okay, I knew I was gonna have to make some adjustments once we go live to this. I never know what the camera angle is gonna be, so just bear with us for 1 second. Today we're gonna be talking about how to, or I can hold it over here if you want. Are you sure? Okay. Yeah. How to create a magnetic pull on a man that makes him see you as a super high value woman and just inspires him to want to pursue you and really feel addicted to you in a really good way, because he just feels so good every time he's around you. Hey everyone who's joining, we love your comments. I'm assuming you guys can hear us okay and see us. I'm still new to this live streaming thing on my own channel, so if there's a problem with the sound or anything, just let us know in the chat. So hi everyone. Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. So we're just gonna jump right in. Anya is going to be actually putting on this 5-day feminine activation starting October 15th, right? Yeah. Totally free. And so we're going to give you information on that. Oh, and make sure to stay till the end of this video as well, because she's going to be taking you through a really, really powerful exercise that you can do right now. You can do it right along with her. That's going to really activate your feminine magnetism and just make you super irresistible, especially to a man. So let's just jump right in. Anya, what's the first thing you have to say on how to create this magnetic pull with a man?
Yeah, I'm so excited again to be back. This is so fun to do these with everybody.
So fun.
And just please feel welcome to ask questions this whole time, and we'll respond as we go. But the biggest concept that we'll be talking about today is that our true power as women comes from our heart, and the heart energy is the magnetic center. So I want to talk today about just some tips and tricks that we can do specifically on dates. I love first dates are so fun for me. I love first dates because when we learn these techniques, ultimately, it's sort of we become. It's like that elevated woman archetype that we talked about last week, which maybe we can introduce that again a little bit.
Yeah.
But we become activators and initiators for a higher possibility and potential. And ultimately, when we hold these qualities within us as women, there's not a lot of women who really know how to tap into this power. And so you ultimately become very unique and very distinct. And men notice that. And they're like, there's something special about her. There's something different about her. So that's what we're really going to be talking about today is what are those differences that you can embody yourself and therefore really become that unique, high value, high quality, irresistible woman. So I know, doesn't she look so pretty?
Oh, you guys
she
are
really
so
does.
Sweet. Thank you. Anya came over and gave me this lipstick, so I'm doing new lipstick today. Maybe it's that.
I got my eyes and I'm like, oh my god, they're a little intense.
I know. She's so gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Oh, Anita says, because of you, I have my high quality man. Yes, so I love it. Thank you so much. You guys are so sweet. You're gonna absolutely love this. So should we go? Do you want to review a little bit what we talked about? Whatever you think
we'll talk
would be
about.
Best.
Perfect. So first we'll just talk about these 3 archetypes that are really important to understand. The first archetype is what we call the voiceless beauty. So the voiceless beauty is the woman. We all really deal with these challenges as women. It's not one or the other. We've all been here, and so we're all healing these. But the voiceless beauty is really the woman who she's in her feminine energy, so she has no problem really attracting men to her, but they're not relationships that really put her in her power. So she doesn't feel heard in her relationships. She doesn't feel seen fully. She really questions her value or her worth. This is a woman who often may have felt like she's been left for another woman. And there's a lot of the victim and feeling just not good enough for that man. Also not having the strength to really say what we want and therefore receive that in our relationships, and not being able to put up those boundaries that ultimately create more respect in a relationship. So I've been there. I know what that's like, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just important to have awareness of, where we're at. On the other side of things is what we call the rigid warrior. And the rigid warrior is the woman who she's more in her masculine energy. So she's she's strong, she's determined, she's often successful. She has, perhaps she's a CEO or just a high-powered woman who has a vision and is totally working toward it in the world. And the thing with her, though, is that she doesn't quite understand why the men that she's wanting to, be in relationship with are not drawn to being in relationship with her. So she's this high-powered woman, but doesn't have that high-powered relationship to match her. So her work is actually in softening more into her feminine energy, still staying empowered, but softening more into her feminine energy so she can attract that powerful partner.
Yeah. So which one do you guys resonate with more? I'm really curious. The voiceless beauty or the rigid warrior? We did a live stream last Friday, actually, on how to activate a man's masculine desire to win you over. And a lot of people, I was really surprised, said they resonated with that voiceless type, the first one, where for some reason, I thought a lot of people would resonate with the other one. So I was really surprised. Yeah, if someone says voiceless. So Anya's gonna totally help you out with this. And if you sign up for her totally free 5-day activation, I'm certainly gonna be there myself just as a participant, because it's gonna be amazing. Oh, we have a rigid warrior too. Yeah, I'm just interested in which one resonates with you guys. And we can all have both, right? We can be both in different times of our lives, or even with different kinds of men. I imagine maybe with one man you feel more voiceless, and with the other one you feel maybe he pushes you into your masculine energy. Another rigid warrior. Interesting.
Yeah. So it's very mixed. I totally and I've definitely been both in my life, for sure. Like, struggled with just feeling my value and my worth more in the voiceless beauty, but the rigid warrior also struggles to really see her worth, because it's like that belief that our worth and our value as women lies in our external accomplishments and our achievements and our success in the physical world. I used to believe that as well. That's why I studied neuroscience and I played the guitar, and I had all the external things, but it wasn't actually what men were really valuing. So I wasn't attracting the relationship that I wanted. So so the third archetype, which is what we're all arriving at, is what we call the elevated woman. And the elevated woman is both is okay. So cute. Yeah. So the elevated woman is an elevation and a merging of the two. So a balance of both the masculine and the feminine, which ultimately means that, at times we will need to go to that masculine side to really be able to, activate our strength and create in the world and see what we want and go after it. Like, that's not part of our beauty. Like, that's actually part of our beauty, but it's just knowing when and how to bring that forth in relationship and when to hold it back.
That's a great point. Yeah, I just want to jump in really quick and I love my audience so much.
Yeah.
I know you guys really get this, but there's a lot of people out there that think, unfortunately, that there's this misconception that being in your feminine energy just means being really passive and weak and just letting a guy like come and go as he pleases, and you're just sitting there waiting. And that just couldn't be further from the truth. And so this work is not about squashing your masculine energy down. To me, that feels very constrictive. It's about ramping up both energies, and expanding and becoming more of who you are, not less. It's just about using these different parts of yourself in a way that's going to really work for you in all areas of your life, right? Rather than against you, rather than pushing that love away, you're going to pull, basically it's like pulling the whole world towards you, right? Especially that man who's right in front of you. So you guys are going to love this.
Oh my gosh, that's so perfect, because that's exactly what we're talking about. It's literally like activating the male emissive electric energy within us, as much as we activate the magnetic feminine, the receptive energy within us. So we're going to do an exercise at the very end where we actually do this. But when we have both of those energies activated within us, that's what the elevated woman does. She knows how to go within and activate that magnetic center in such a powerful way. And yet she also has this powerful, beautiful electric radiance emitting from her that when we have that energy emitting from us, it's very bright and very light. And so it helps the magnetic, but it also protects us. It's sort of like this we'll go more into it, but it becomes that inner male energy, that inner man that's within us. Like when we're on a date, that's what that man can experience when he's in front of us, and really sense that, okay, well, she's being protected by a whole other energy than just somebody who's just passive. Like she is a very high value woman, and she knows how to hold herself in such a way where her energy is just very strong. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So is it that it's your own masculine energy inside yourself that creates that effect, right?
Yeah, it's the uniting of the inner masculine and the inner feminine. So the elevated woman, and we'll go more into these tips and tricks. The elevated woman she really knows that her value and power comes from within. So in order to activate the magnetic, we must spend time almost every single day where we close our eyes, put our hands over our hearts, and tune into the deeper power that we all hold, which is where our energy, like we talked a lot last week, that as women, our energy is what really is the value we bring to relationship. So this talking about how we become like the addiction, like what men are craving from women is that softness that we hold just in our energy. Like literally, that's it. It has nothing to do with what we've externally created. What they really are craving is our energy. So it doesn't mean they won't value and see us for all of the things that we've created in the world, and our opinion. It's also a big part of us.
Right, yeah. But it's my opinion, at least, that we are deeper than men in a lot of ways. We are more conscious than them. Just naturally, we're connected to ourselves, and you could say to the universe, in ways that men can only get connected to through us. So that's what creates this kind of like addictive pull where he is, through you, getting in touch with parts of himself that he might have, lost touch with ever since he was a kid, for example, right?
Yeah, exactly. That as women, we are source energy. Like a woman can hold a baby. So we're one step closer to that source energy and being able to receive the original soul inside of our own body, whereas men are more physically oriented, hard, rigid, strong, very powerful in this external physical world. And then when they come into us, and there's this relief that they experience in our presence. And it is that sort of like, that's why we can become like addictive in good ways and bad ways. Like, some of the lower ways that we've seen in the world of other forms of addiction. It's really that we're all wanting to feel good. So we as women can be that space where we create the feeling of feeling good. So let's go into a few tips.
Thanks for your comments, guys. These are great. Someone said, I'm loving all the advice that I'm getting. It's working for me. We heal each other, so much alike. Authenticity grabs them. Absolutely. Yes.
Exactly.
When I'm full of happiness, he radiates it back to me. Yeah, absolutely.
I see something about we healed each other. So I'm not exactly sure the rest of that, but okay. When I'm full of happiness, he radiates back to me. Oh, that's so beautiful. So I think Anita, what Anita's talking about here is like when we really do connect with this inner power and that heart-centered energy, we can become not just initiators and activators. We also become healers, because we all need a bit of healing right now. We need to feel fully worthy of the love that we are deserving of, but we don't always believe that we are. So actually, when we rise up into this elevated woman archetype, we attract the soulmate love that ultimately creates the healing opportunity, like Anita is experiencing, where we really can, a man and a woman can really go into those polarities and dance with one another and heal each other by holding that beautiful, safe space for tears to come and wounds to rise. And yet you're so rooted in like this trust and this knowing that the person's not going to go anywhere, and therefore this really powerful healing can take place. So anything you want to say on that?
Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Mimi. You guys are so sweet. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So it's not I'm not going to say this quote right, but if you heard that, like, we're admired for our strengths, but we're loved like through our weaknesses, or we connect through our weaknesses. And not that you want to think of yourself as having all these weaknesses, but it's those parts of yourself where you feel vulnerable, when you kind of like give a man the honor of seeing those parts and expressing them, and showing him that you feel safe within yourself. That's how he knows that he's going to feel he can be safe with you. When a man sees that you love and embrace and accept all the different parts of yourself, that's when he knows, oh, she accepts herself. She loves herself. That's how I know that she's going to accept me and my feelings and my insecurities, which men all have, just like we do, right? So you can tell a man all day long, like, oh, I accept you, I love you. But until he sees that you love and accept yourself, he'll never fully believe that you'll accept him, because a lot of men just feel kind of inadequate sometimes and scared to go there within themselves. So when you can go first and do that first, you'll be irreplaceable. He's just going to want to keep coming towards you more and more, because he feels so good every time he's around you.
Totally. Oh, I love that so much. And we talked last week, like the biggest trick, the most powerful trick to really being that unforgettable woman is your vulnerability. Because when you show your vulnerability, you let him enter into your heart. And every man wants to really be or most men want to be inside of us in some way, because when they're inside of us, whether it be, physically through powerful union and intimacy, or like the intimacy of emotion and true heartfelt connection, that invitation into you and what you were saying earlier, like we truly are deep creatures. We're physiologically built with depth. So as women, so much of this mass media and this culture, it brings forth such a superficial value that, like, ultimately the more superficial we are, the more valuable we are. But that's opposite of what's true, because when we shift that and come back to the actual truth, it's like, no, the more deep I am, the more valuable I am. Like the more deep somebody can experience me and enter me, the more I actually have to give and share. So
I love it. I'm like literally getting goosebumps right now between that and reading these comments. Oh my gosh, you guys changed my life. When I start to sabotage myself, I revert back to your teachings and got a miracle. Oh my gosh, so powerful. I'm a strong woman. This was something that's recently been, so Doris also said being soft is difficult for me. This will help you. This will really, really help you. Feminine women rule. Thank you. I love it. Love your videos. What's the main topic? So we're going to be talking about, we have been talking about, for those of you just joining, creating this magnetic pull on a man. So he just feels this urge to be around you and keep coming towards you. I'm not too sure how to draw from my source. I kind of do it. Oh, do you have anything to say about that? Yeah. And the exercise at the end will help a lot too. Oh, getting married because of your guidance. That makes me so happy. Oh my gosh. Moonlit says, this is so beautiful. When I try to be in my feminine, I repel some men. Does this mean that they are not in their masculine? Oh, great question. Great question.
That is a good question.
I would say if you're truly coming from your feminine energy, you could think of it as when you come into alignment with like the whole of who you are. I've really found that the right men for you come towards you and just step right up, and the wrong people for you kind of fade away. And you don't have to micromanage it any more than that. It's this such a peaceful way to live, rather than trying to control circumstances and situations. You're just tending to your own energy first and your own alignment, and then the right man for you absolutely just comes towards you, and the wrong ones tend to naturally, organically kind of fade out.
Absolutely.
Have you found that true?
So much, and that's one of the biggest. Once we master that, like if you can master feeling so much peace within yourself that no matter what is happening on the outside, you're good, you're okay. That's when, A, we start to just magnetize everything that we want, and B, it's just like you're saying, it becomes a much more peaceful way of living. Like we, rather than trying to control everything, just knowing that it's going to come, and in a way that actually creates an even better outcome. That when we surrender our desires or surrender our outcome expectations, and we trust, literally like putting up our hands and surrendering and basically saying, like, I do this to the universe. I literally like with the universe in mind. Like I'll connect with my heart, and if there's something going on in my life and I don't have power over it, or it's too scary or too intense, or I want something so bad, but it's not really in my control. It's like, okay, I'm feeling emotions come up right now that are hard to experience. So, let me just surrender to this situation. And every time when we come into that deep surrender, the universe just sends support. It sends support, or it create circumstances where the outcome is even better than we really could ever experience. That's why, this is a totally different talk.
Totally. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm like getting lost in these comments over here too. Yeah. Everything you're saying is so true. Yeah. My man was tired of the old stuff because I'm different. He fell for me. Yeah. It's who you are deep down that creates this pull on a man. Absolutely. Sam says, thank you, girls. You're welcome. I went from long distance relationship text to getting married by going step by step off your program. Wow, oh my gosh. Amazing. First time I am loved for me. Oh my gosh. Congratulations. I'm so excited to hear that. Yeah. It's being loved for who you are. Oh my gosh. We love you guys so much. This is so awesome. Yeah.
Sorry, go for it.
Yeah, I'm just like overwhelmed by the positive energy. I was telling you, I said my channel is just full of positive energy and amazing, super high value women. So
amazing. Yeah, I never thought about surrendering, and that's so amazing to have that connection, because surrender is one of the most powerful words to embody as a woman. Like every word is actually kind of like an activation code. Like there's a meaning and an energy and an essence within every single word. So the word surrender, there's so much power in that word, when you not just being surrender, like, you can push me wherever you want to take me and I'm not going to have any say, but surrender to like truly a higher guidance. Like I always say, our power as women is when we can surrender to an energy that, what is it? It's when we can truly surrender to a higher guidance, which is like the divine masculine. The divine masculine is all about guidance and structure and, leadership, but we'll only ultimately surrender to that leadership if it's coming to us from a really beautiful, powerful place, that they really have our greatest intention in mind. That I will surrender to a man if he knows how to take me to my highest potential. Go for it, but I'm not going to surrender to somebody who's just going to use me and manipulate me. So it's really being both activating that discernment within us and being willing to trust, because it does take trust to have those experiences of really being taken somewhere where we can't go all by ourselves. And that's the beauty of the divine masculines. They actually have the power. Men in their highest power have the wisdom within to take a woman out of her head and into her body, where he benefits. He can connect with her at her deepest level. They can really come into divine union. But he must be at his strength and his power. And we must have discernment as to who we invite into our lives and into us in order to really have those elevated experiences.
Absolutely. Yeah. So surrendering, trusting, allowing, all very feminine energy qualities, super feminine energy, and not very much talked about either. So we're so happy to be doing this. I never thought about surrendering. Where can we find your program? All of my programs are on my website, helenaheartcoaching.com. I have about 9 or 10 different books that I've written, programs. Anya is doing a free 5-day activation at eastwestinterviews.com.
Yeah.
We'll post links to both of those at the end of this. You gave me my dreams. How much does physical appearance matter if you're in your feminine energy? Ooh, great question.
Really
do you want to take that one? Yeah, I'm sure you have a lot to say on that.
So, this is in my old judgment. I would when I was more in that rigid warrior archetype, and even in the Voiceless Beauty as well, I would see men in relationships with women that I judged to be less beautiful than me. I made that judgment because I used to be in that, I would go into a room, and this is very vulnerable. And I don't like to share this, but I will, because I realize how important it is to be, open. I would go in when I was back in college and earlier. I was so insecure that I would go into a room or a party and look around and basically judge myself against other women and say okay, that girl is more beautiful than me. I'm more beautiful than those girls. And I would put my worth on my physical beauty. But then I would like look at, you know, a guy that I was interested in or something and see him with a girl who I judged to be less beautiful than me. And I wouldn't get it. I was like, well, what's wrong with me? Like, I have all these things that I've created and done and excelled in. And I'm, you know, I have a perfect body, because I used to think I had to have a perfect body in order to be worthy of a man too. So I would control all of those things. And yet this, you know, this man would ultimately be with a woman who I judged as not beautiful. But really then I, like, through all this work, realizing he saw her true beauty, you know? And when we really put our value in our true beauty, which is our heart and our internal essence and our energy and what we bring with our personality, how we make somebody feel when they're around us, like, that's when a man will really fall for us. It doesn't have as much to do with our physical beauty as we really think.
It's so true. I mean, who can't relate to that, right? Someone says Anya is a beautiful girl. Yes, she is. So beautiful inside and out. Great question. How can you tell if a man is in his divine masculine or false masculine? What are some most common signs to look for when you start seeing the man? That's a great question.
I would cry with that question.
I would love to hear everything you have to say on that. I always say, how do you feel in his presence, right? How do you feel about yourself? Do you feel safe? Do you feel secure? Do you feel like you can open up and be yourself and you're just relaxed and he really likes you and accepts you for exactly as you are? That's a sign that you're with an empowered masculine man, in my experience, or that's like coming from my perspective. What do you have to say on that?
Yeah, well, I've been really blessed to be in some really powerful relationships with some truly divine masculine men, and in those, I'm sure you have too, just like the experience of this. It's, you know, one of the biggest qualities I find is that there is such a strength within them. There's such this unmovable, unshakable strength within. It's not like an external confidence and ego thing, but just this steadiness that no matter what happens in your life, like no matter what emotions are showing up or what moods you're in, he's able to really love and see you always. Like, that's been my experience with a man who's really in his masculine strength. He's able to hold space for whatever comes up. I wrote this poem once. It's like the ocean floor is very,
oh my gosh, you read my mind. I was literally just gonna ask you to, yeah, we did an interview together. We did a video together. It's on my channel on feminine freedom, I believe. From self-control to self-love. And she had this beautiful analogy of the ocean floor. I'm not gonna say it as amazing as you. So yeah, please share that.
So the ocean floor does not request that the sea warn him that does not request that the ocean warn him when sea is about to storm, meaning her, that he is ready to handle whatever comes up, from the stillest, most beautiful, pristine waters to the most raging storm. Like that, actually, we are the ocean as women, and the ocean floor is very much that divine masculine. It's that humble, quiet, not quiet necessarily, like they have a voice, but they don't necessarily always need to be in the middle of the scene. Like, you know, they're the frame of a picture. Like there's a picture right here, and it's the frame that's holding the essence and the art. They're holding a space for that. And if they weren't there, then the art couldn't exist. You know, if the ocean floor didn't exist, the ocean wouldn't be able to exist. And I love this analogy too, because there's a point at which the ocean floor, oh my gosh, it's right there.
I know.
It's cool that the picture is literally of the ocean. So it's kind of like,
I was thinking that too. I was like, that's,
but where the beach is where the divine masculine ocean floor, the sand, like meets the ocean, you know, and there's literally this beautiful dance, and they influence one another. Like the tides and the water will push the sand forward and pull it back, and the sand influences, you know, so there's just a super beautiful representation of this union.
Yeah, if you've ever had the experience where you feel like you could basically say anything or do anything. I mean, within reason, like you could be the full force of yourself, and a man's not going anywhere. Like he can handle you. He can handle that. He's not so reactive to your, the moods and the storm, so to speak. Like he's there. You basically can't push him away with what you're feeling. That's a sign of a man in his divine masculine.
Yeah, and in fact, he appreciates the different weathers that you bring. Like that's what puts him in his masculine power, is when you're unapologetically dynamic, because he's stable. And so but in order to experience the world fully, like by you actually being unapologetically dynamic and emotional and fluid, he's able to like experience something that he can't naturally have himself, which is the range of emotions and the range of life experience that he is experiencing in many ways through you.
Yeah, I'm so glad you agree with me on that. It's a strong statement to say that men can't reach certain parts of themselves without us, but I've really found that to be true personally. So how do you stay or maintain feminine energy? Lee asks, great question. Stay till the end if you can. If not, I will post the replay of this. Anya's going to share a powerful exercise that gets you there and stays there. So funny. I had a comment on one of my other videos, literally 8 minutes before we started this, someone asking for an exercise on how to get in touch with your feminine energy and get out of your head and into your body. And that's literally what we're going to be doing here. So that should help you a lot. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention before we go into that?
Yeah, so I want to go through like just a few tips, like on the first date, let's say, or on any date, whether I do this like on the first date with guys or if I'm in a relationship with somebody for a longer time, I'll still do it, because it's a fun way to play with the polarity, like to put yourself in such a feminine energy that he's like, you get to put him in his masculine, and you just see it light them up. And it's so fun. So one of the biggest things is, do you want to attend to a comment?
Keep going. Yeah, okay. I'll read them and make sure that we answer everything.
Like the exercise we'll do at the end will really help us get out of our head and into the heart. And the reason this is important is, if you identify more with the rigid warrior operates much more from the head. The head is connected to the masculine. It's the reason. It's the control, it's the foresight, it's the wisdom, powerful divine wisdom, but it's headier. It's not as much embodied. And the heart is where the feeling and the love and that sort of warm energy is as well. So there's different powers, and when these two come together in a united way and an elevated way, then that's what actually births this like willpower. So the mind and the heart come together, our ideas and our feelings, and then we act in the world on what it is we really care about. So anyway, that's tangent. But so the biggest thing to stay in the feminine energy, well, to know that we're always dancing back and forth, but we can consciously put ourselves in the feminine energy. Let's say we have a first date to go on. I love first dates. I think they're so fun. Because like I said at the beginning, when you know how to activate these energies within, you know that you're ultimately going to be kind of like a woman that this guy has never experienced before. And you have that confidence inside of you, and therefore you show up with that knowing, and then it happens. And he's like, who are you? Like, I've literally never experienced this before. I've had comments like that. I've had texts the day after.
So true. It's so true. I can't believe how true that is. That's so true. Yeah.
So we'll do 3 tips here. So biggest tip is to spend a little bit of time before you go on a date or, out to dinner with your partner, getting into your body. So this could be exercising, but I would say maybe not so much any exercise, because that'll get you out of like any fear, any stress, and release the endorphins that put you in your body, allow you to feel actually relaxed. When you're feeling relaxed, you can be more soft, open, vulnerable, trusting, like you just are instantly put into your feminine energy. So exercising, dancing, yoga, anything to get you into your body. Sometimes even if there's not time for that, just take a bath or a shower and like put lotion on your body and set the intention to come out of this and into your heart. And then I always meditate before I go on a date. Like even if it's 5 minutes or 3 minutes, like I'll park and wait. I'll close my eyes, put my hands over my heart, and just take a few deep breaths. Because when we close our eyes, we go deep. And we talked about how depth is associated with your value and your power as a woman. And then also with that, like you connect to your heart, and the heart is the magnetic. So we create this depth and this magnetism. And you show up on a date, you're sitting across from this person on the table, and he can feel it. Like he's like, holy moly. Like no matter what I do, there's something about her that's just so, there's this strength and this confidence, this quiet, sexy confidence. And it's coming from your heart. And it's coming from that moment that you took right before the date to basically tell yourself, like, I'm good. I'm good. I know that I'm beautiful. I know I'm powerful. And no matter what happens, like with this person, I'm grounded in that truth and that knowing. And the more time you spend going within like that, we just build that strength and confidence at deeper and deeper levels.
Yeah, I love it. Aldina says, yes, meditation before the date. Thanks. Great. That's great. Yes, fantastic. I love that. And it's what I wanted to add was it's nothing you have to say to a man. Like showing a man your value has nothing to do with like the specific words you say. Of course, the words are very important, but I get so many questions of like, okay, how do I show a guy my value now? How do I show him that things are different? And there's this forward leaning quality to it where this is kind of like the opposite, trusting that he's going to feel it, right? He's really going to feel it. When you do this consistently. Someone asked before about a man. Let me scroll back up for a second. I don't want to let all these comments get ahead of us. There's so many. You were getting along, you were messaging back and forth recently. He left me on read when I send him a snap. You know what? There's no real way to analyzing a man and maybe he's busy, maybe something else. We don't really know. So what I'd encourage you to do is take that focus off of him. If his energy is not coming towards you right now, the best thing you could ever do is pull that energy off of him, put it on yourself, and your own life. And that's actually the fastest way to get his energy coming back towards you again. Ironically, we often think that we're supposed to like focus on a man and figure him out, but the opposite is actually true. If you've ever had the experience where when you truly forget about a man, that's when he calls, that's when you get a text from him. There is something to it. It feels like magic, but it's not. Right? It's like that pathway is like free and clear of resistance.
Oh, just what you said, can a man feel your feminine energy even when not in your presence?
I truly believe that yes, he can. What do you think about that?
It's exactly like that.
Yeah. I think so. Absolutely. Someone else asked about being friends with an ex. My ex-boyfriend said the relationship is not working. He wanted to stay friends and go places. Why do men do that? Great question. There could be many reasons why. Something I always say is just because a man is not wanting to be in a relationship with you anymore doesn't mean that he doesn't enjoy the company of a woman. And in terms of if you're staying friends with him because you're hoping for more, you're hoping you're going to get like upgraded back to girlfriend, usually not a good idea, right? If you have zero feelings for him at all, and then, it's up to you. It's up to you. Usually if you're asking that question though, there is something there still. There are still feelings. So you just don't want to be accepting the friend thing because you're hoping for more. You're hoping to get upgraded back to a relationship. Usually doesn't work out that way. Just getting all the benefits of you without having to take it forward.
Okay, and this is a perfect segue because I wanted to share a personal story that I really experienced earlier on in my life. Because another great thing you can do, like if a guy's not responding the way you want, or is in another relationship and you're feeling upset about it, is when you feel the trigger, because the feeling of trigger is when we feel tight, tense, maybe we feel like a squeeze or a heat. Like heat is really a sign of a trigger. When the triggers arise, that's really an opportunity for you to heal. And anytime you choose to heal from the trigger, you gain back a lot of power that you're giving away to that situation or that person. So the best way to heal, I feel, and the way I've done it, is literally to like sit in the discomfort And I mean, I talk a lot about meditation because I truly do believe that's the strongest way we can like come into our feminine energy and really activate it at such a powerful level. In a unique way. Like there's lots of techniques, you know, but like in this sort of deep energetic way, it's a huge technique. So anyway, but when we sit with the discomfort and we breathe through it, and if for as long as you sit with something, it will dissipate. So like, okay, that's a little bit esoteric. So we'll go into the end, and I'll bring that in at the end. All right. But I wanted to share this specific example. So when I was in college, I attracted 3 relationships in a row where basically it was started off as a really fun friendship. Like we'd do everything together, study together, go on runs together, kind of like even sleep over at each other's houses a little bit, you know. And ultimately, like they liked me at the beginning and I didn't like them. And then through the relationship, as it continued, like I fell for them. And then at that point, they didn't like me. And so then it would literally happen 3 times that I fell in love with my best guy friend. And I realized that, you know, this wasn't a pattern that was going to stop until I actually like did the work to heal it, because we'll attract the same kind of relationships over and over and over again, where, you know, let's say a guy comes into our life for a while and then he leaves, or maybe it's an abusive pattern that we attract into our lives. And until we get really conscious of the fact that it is continuing to come in different kind of shapes and forms, then it's going to continue to come. So there was this moment where I just sat, like I was heartbroken over this guy, totally heartbroken over it, because there's the feeling of, you know, this person knows me the most. They're my best friend and they don't want to be with me. Like that's so heartbreaking. And sitting and just being like, okay, I'm breathing into that pain and the sadness and fear and just the loss of the situation. And I'm choosing to know that this is not a reflection of me and my worth. And I'm choosing to let go of that person, because if that person doesn't see me at my high value, then they don't need to be a part of my life anymore. And what's hilarious is like years later, you know, I'm still kind of in contact with a couple of those guys. And it's like, I've done so much of this work of healing my worth and taking my power back from these people and these situations that I was giving it to, that I look back at those people and I love them still, but I'm not at all really attracted to them. Like there's not that same, I need them or I want them. Like I've almost risen not that they're not worthy of me, but I just am no longer at all attracted to them. And so it just shows so much, as like, if you feel like you're giving your power away, or you're hurt over some guy from 2 years ago or a year ago, or that he's holding a little bit of your power. And likely if you do the work to just, you know, heal that inner self-worth, then you might find that, you know, a year from now, you'll look back at that experience and be like, why was I even?
Oh my gosh. I can't tell you how often I hear that. I've experienced that. We all have, right? Where you're like, why was I so hung up on this guy? You know, when we're leaning forward, trying to prove our worth and make things happen, our perception gets clouded. One of the first things that my clients say when I have them lean back and get into their feminine energy is they're able to like see the man and the situation for what it truly is, because they're not trying to make things happen so much anymore. So I love that. Such a common thing I hear all the time. I mean, we've all been there. I did what you said, and he is hooked for life. I'm always on his mind. Yes, it really works, you guys. This really, really works, and it's permanent and lasting. Oh, this might be my favorite question. Any advice on how to become a more attractive woman in general? Not how to attract a specific man, but to become the type of woman that attracts men in general. Yes, I love that. I love that. And this is what we're all about, really. Not to, everyone wants to know how to get that one man, right? So we have to sort of frame it around that sometimes. But this is, it's about becoming the most attractive, magnetic version of yourself, so the right man just naturally steps up and comes towards you. That's exactly what we're talking about here. And sign up for Anya's free 5-day activation starting October 15th. We'll post a link to that in the description. It's eastwestinterviews.com. Totally free. It's going to be so amazing. And that's exactly what she's going to be doing. You gave 2 people a wonderful life. Oh my gosh, that just like warms my heart. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Lucy. Okay. Anything else you want to mention before we get into the exercise? Or does anyone else have any questions or anything?
So one more tip with just like the first dating thing, and maybe we'll do a whole other talk on like how to just do an amazing first date, because that's a really fun topic.
Yeah, Moonlit loves your story too. Yes.
Oh, good.
Very relatable. I mean, we've all experienced that. I'm so glad you shared that. It's
good,
awesome.
good. But then just remember, like, the more time you spend with yourself, and like that's how one of the ways to become a more attractive woman is just be with yourself, like be with your own energy, do things that you love, and over time you just start to radiate more and more and more and more, that because you love being with you. And the more you love being with you, the more you value your essence, your energy, and you become that high value woman. And but then, and you become deeper, you become more intimate with you, and therefore you can become more intimate with another person. So I just wanted to share like one more thing you can do, like in relationship with men, and embodying sort of this self-confidence and inner beauty and radiance is really allow yourself to get vulnerable with them, not just through your words, but like your eye contact. I was doing that on a first date just the other day, where I was like just looking at the guy in the eye, like when you're actually able to hold his eyes and like be with him for a moment in that way of intimacy, and you don't look away or shy away. And it can take some practice, but just breathe, like be strong, be patient, like breathe and look at him in the eyes. And that's so intimate. And he'll feel so drawn to you in a like, because there's this mystery that happens when he looks at you and you're holding his gaze and you're not looking away, because it's like, it shows confidence within you. And he ultimately wants to figure it out. He's like, who is that?
It's so true. Yeah, you can communicate with your eyes like so much, isn't it? Like something like 96% of our communication is nonverbal, 93%, I think. So you can, even if there's an awkward pause or silence, you can say with your eyes, like, it's okay, I can handle this silence. And rather than constantly picking up the slack for him and trying to like keep things going, right?
Yeah, so perfect. That's amazing. And before we'll go into the activation meditation really soon, and I just want to tell you about what it really does. So when you do this sort of meditation before a date or in any relationship, it does a couple things. One, it activates your magnetic feminine energy. So I love the example of just being on that first date, sitting across from somebody at the dinner table or at a coffee shop, and you're connected with your heart at such a deep level where you're literally pulling energy into you. Like there's just this like pull in all directions. Eyes are looking at you. You can visualize this and imagine this before it's actually happening. And that activates that magnetic pull. So the guy in front of you feels that. He like feels pulled to you by doing this meditation that we'll go into. This is what it does. It activates that magnetic pull. So he'll feel pulled. He'll be leaning in. And then simultaneously, it activates this electric protection. I call it like your inner man, this inner man that's always united with you. You can even meditate and be with him if you're single and you're missing and you want relationship and you're missing that partner. You can just like connect with this inner man that is always here for you, because ultimately what it is an energy. And when you're, doing this meditation that we'll do, it activates this force field around you, which is like this light circle of light that acts as, in a way, this barrier between you and that guy. And it's not a barrier that he cannot penetrate, but he just feels that there's like a little bit of competition. It's almost like there's another guy fighting for you. And therefore he feels like, oh, wow, like, this isn't just going to be an easy catch. Like there's competition for this woman. She's a high value woman. But yeah, it's funny because you're actually creating that energy yourself, but it's not in any way pushing him away. It's just like, I'm inviting you in, but simultaneously, like you're really going to have to level up and wield some tools and show, your swords and whatever it is, like really show me who you are before like you are really worthy of entering into me. Like I need to see how you'll show up for me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That is the most attractive place to come from, right? I call it being strong on the inside, soft on the outside, right? You trust yourself. It's that inner masculine energy inside yourself that just has you. So you're not like seeking that, trying to pull it out of the date or the man in front of you. So powerful. And it's like that challenge, not in a way, not challenging him by shutting down and playing games, but challenging him by challenging yourself, being the best version of yourself, so that he naturally has to step up in order to kind of win you over. We talked about that in our last live stream. I always think I want to be the feminine ideal that the masculine within me would be drawn to. Ooh, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, it's kind of what we're talking about here. Are you going to share this on your channel? Yeah, I'll post the replay to this as soon as we're done. I told my man I feel so safe with him. I want to lean into his warm chest. He said I made him melt. Oh, I love it. I love it. I think you can, there is some way to do subtitles, Carlos, but it probably won't be until the replay. There's some setting you can do. I've listened to you day and night, joined a matchmaker, listening to your lessons over and over. I'm trying out some of your ideas on men. I like feeling feminine. Thank you for your help. Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad it's been helpful. Oh my gosh. No, Fiona, we're going to do the exercise, I believe, right now. I'm going to step out so you guys can, just because I tend to like zone out with this. I want to do it myself, and I want you guys to have just, I don't want there to be any distraction. So I'm going to just kind of like step to the side, and you can totally just focus on, do you do it with your eyes open, eyes closed? Eyes closed.
Yeah.
And this is going to be super powerful. So I'll just come back in as soon as you're done. Good?
Yeah, we'll just go like 5 minutes. We won't go very long, and this will be really simple. Like when you do the 5-day activation training with me, it'll be much more complex and in-depth. But I just want, this will be a really simple, bite-sized experience. So it's, just a tiny, tiny taste of how really easy it is to do this. And then the more practice you have, the stronger it gets as a in you. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll be back right when you're done.
So if you've ever meditated before, or maybe you've tried and you hear some people say like they're not good at meditating, and just know that it's okay. There's no really right or wrong way to do it. It's just the intention of, okay, I'm going to take a little bit more time to spend with myself. So I'll have everybody come into a comfortable position. I love to cross my legs, but you can be on a chair, you can be lying down. If you're sitting up like this, just make sure you're comfortable so you can put a pillow under your sit bones. All right. And then we'll start just by putting one of your hands over your heart and one of your hands on your low belly. So these are the two power centers that you have as a woman, your heart center and your womb center, both creative centers. All right. And then take a deep breath in and close your eyes. And just notice how right away as you exhale, you're able to soften your body a little bit more. Taking a few more rounds of those deep breaths, and every exhale, feel yourself just become a little bit more soft. Let go of tension and stress. And that tension and stress that comes more from the masculine desire to control. Just allow yourself to come into trust in this moment and let go. I want you to sort of imagine that everything that you want, you can think of actual images or just energy. You can just kind of imagine just spirals of energy or little waves of energy just coming towards you with every breath, softening deeper and deeper, and just imagining these spirals of energy being absorbed into you and into your heart. Sort of like the sunbeams just coming down and hitting your skin. Feel yourself sort of lean back, receiving this energy, softening more and more and more. Don't worry if you feel like you're doing it wrong. Just trust that it's perfect. And one trick is to notice the sensation of the air coming in and out of your nose. Literally feel what it feels like to have that air touch the skin of your nose. Just taking a few more breaths here. Notice how you feel. Notice how much softer your body is. Maybe even your mind is a little bit more receptive and calm, less stressed. And imagine yourself on a date, or imagine yourself with a partner. And when you're in this space of feminine grace and softness and trust, feel the effect that it has on this person. When you're so self-contained and gentle inside of you, confident, feel him be pulled towards you. Just interested in this energy that you're holding inside of your body. And know that this is where your value and your truth really lies, right here within you. And just take 2 more breaths gently. Perhaps letting out a little sigh. Sometimes it can finally feel this, like this sense of relief when we come here. We're really able to let go. Okay, coming back into this world right here. Good. All right, there's like a dump truck outside. But it's cool because in a way it's really this contrast between like the physical world. There's a lot of stuff going on, and then this internal world is this is where we really can find that peace. Helena will come back now.
Okay.
Yeah. But so thanks for staying live for that. I actually expected some people to like go away because often that sometimes like when we actually take the time to go in, it's not always comfortable, but ultimately if you spend enough time and practice it and just try it a few times, like it really becomes a safe haven. So amazing for everybody who just chose to just do that. Like that's gonna create a lot of beautiful power in your life.
Amazing. I was doing it right along with you. And okay, any other questions or comments or anything? That was so amazing. And so I know there's like a lot of noise and stuff going on back here. I don't know if it gets picked up by the microphone or not, but even with all of that, I felt so peaceful and relaxed. I have to tell you, Leo in the other room is completely asleep now. When I first went in, he was like alert and awake, and then I think he's totally obsessed with Anya. But after hearing that, he like totally passed out. He's like so relaxed. Fiona says very peaceful. Thank you. I lost connection. Excited to do the 5-day activation with you. You ladies are amazing. Oh, thank you, Whitney. Yes, I will post a link to that. If you enjoyed this exercise, it's just a tiny little taste of what Anya is going to be sharing. There's going to be one per day, right?
Yeah, we're going to go into the queen archetype, the princess archetype, the high priestess, the goddess, and the maiden, and another secret one too. But each one really represents a different side of us as women, and the more we can like go in and experience it at a very extreme level, those archetypes, then we start to embody all of the energies, like all 5 of those archetypes, and it's so powerful. It's so fun.
Amazing. I'm excited for it too, because I learn a lot every time I listen to Anya personally. Like it's very, very helpful for me. She's helping me kind of like connect with, meditating and things like that just don't come naturally for me, as I know that it doesn't for a lot of us. Acceptance of self and allowing him to love himself. Let's see. You and your girl crew have changed my whole life. Oh, thank you, Brandy.
That's awesome.
I love it. I know I love all my friends that I bring on, and like I love just sharing them. Like there's just so many different perspectives, and it's like my favorite thing. Like this to me is so much more fun than just making videos on my own, which can get kind of like lonely after a while, you know? Like this is totally my favorite thing to do. So we should definitely do more of these. I would love to. I hope you would too, because this is so much fun for me. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Brandy. That's like, that totally just made my day, because this is one of my favorite things to do, like in the whole world. So we're just coming up on the hour right now. So we'll go ahead and close out. Have a great weekend, everyone. Anything else you want to add? Any last like tips or words of wisdom or anything?
No, just notice how you feel like throughout the rest of the day. Even just that few minutes of doing that, just I feel different.
Totally,
like there's just a tiny subtle difference, and just try to keep, like, maybe before you go to bed tonight, like do that again, just 3 minutes of just breathing, and tomorrow morning, and just practice it. Like just see what it creates in your life. For me, it creates confidence and that self-worth, that it becomes magnetically attractive. So yeah, it's kind of like magic, I feel.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much. I totally agree. It is magical. It is totally magical, and it's coming from who you are. It's just this authentic place, right? Not some kind of superficial thing that's only going to get you short-term results. Like, and I believe the way it works is the more you do it, the better you get at it, the better the effects, like meditating, right? I wish I had Anya as a girlfriend. Oh, I know. I'm very lucky. That was great. Thanks so much. Awesome. Okay, everyone, we'll have a great weekend. Thanks. Everyone stayed till the end. You guys are so amazing. So awesome. Thank you. Hopefully do this again very, very soon. And yeah, I'll post a link to her 5-day activation. You also get a free gift interview series that I was a part of. That's on eastwestinterviews.com for everyone watching live. But the link is in the description if you're watching the replay. And
there'll be a lot more information that comes out about the 5-day challenge really soon. So you'll first get that free gift, and then there'll be more following that.
Perfect. Okay. Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend.